Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is far more than a poetic metaphor. It's a psychological truth woven into the fabric of every human being. We like to see ourselves as kind, moral, and harmless. We build up identities based on goodness, empathy, and integrity. But beneath this carefully curated self-image lies another part of us, the darker, hidden self we work hard to suppress. This is the shadow, the collection of traits, desires, and emotions we disown because society deemed them unacceptable. From an early age, we learn that anger, jealousy, selfishness, and even bold ambition are not welcome. So we bury these parts of ourselves, choosing instead to be polite, agreeable, and socially acceptable. But what's repressed doesn't disappear. It sinks deeper into the unconscious, quietly gathering strength. When we ignore our shadow, it doesn't vanish. It finds backdoors into our lives. It emerges in sudden outbursts we can't explain, in our irrational judgments of others, in self-sabotaging behaviors we don't understand. We attribute our suffering to external forces, unfair circumstances, bad luck, difficult people, never realizing that the chaos often stems from within. The shadow lives in the unconscious and operates without our awareness, influencing our decisions, shaping our reactions, and guiding our lives from the background. Jung famously warned, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This quote is a wake-up call. Much of what we think is destiny may actually be the result of our own disowned selves acting out in disguise. The infamous Stanford prison experiment starkly illustrated this principle. Ordinary university students, given roles of guards and prisoners, rapidly descended into abusive behavior, not because they were evil, but because the conditions gave their shadow traits a doorway. Authority and anonymity unchained their repressed aggression and cruelty. This experiment reminded us that evil isn't exclusive to a few. It's a potential that lives in all of us, dormant until activated. When we deny our capacity for cruelty or dominance, it doesn't disappear. Instead, it festers and emerges indirectly, through passive aggression, harsh criticism, or the quiet ways we sabotage others and ourselves. One of the most common expressions of the shadow is projection. We often despise in others what we've buried in ourselves. If arrogance annoys us deeply, it might reflect a disowned need for recognition. If someone's recklessness infuriates us, perhaps we've silenced our own longing for adventure or risk. These reactions act as psychological mirrors. The emotions they stir reveal of our inner life. Noticing what triggers us isn't a flaw, it's a map to the shadow. Real growth doesn't come from maintaining an illusion of moral perfection. It begins when we're willing to meet the parts of ourselves we've long ignored. This is the work of integration, not indulging our darker impulses, but acknowledging them so they no longer dominate from the shadows. It requires honesty, owning up to feelings like envy, admitting the quiet pleasure we might take in someone else's failure, or recognizing suppressed rage. Practices like journaling raw thoughts, observing our emotional triggers, and even speaking directly to our shadow, "I see you, but you don't control me," can begin the process of healing. The price of neglecting the shadow is high: cycles of suffering, repeated mistakes, unexplained anger, and a sense of disconnection from self. But when we face the darkness within, something remarkable happens. We reclaim our power. The shadow isn't the enemy. It's the forgotten self that longs to be seen and understood. We can keep blaming fate or dare to turn inward and take responsibility. It won't be easy, but as Jung said, enlightenment is not found in imagining light, but in bringing darkness to light. And that journey begins with one courageous question: what am I refusing to see in myself?